Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, August 22nd, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. The things that politicians have to do. Last night, in the final seconds of the closing Olympic ceremonies in Rio de Janeiro, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe appeared out of a pipe on the main stage dressed as the video game character Super Mario. It was part of the official handoff of the Olympic four-year ceremonial build-up, as Tokyo is going to host the 2020 Summer Games. Speaking of Tokyo, a powerful typhoon is on course for a direct hit on the Japanese capital. It's already grounded about 400 airplane flights due to heavy rain and strong winds. The typhoon is called Typhoon Mindulle, M-I-N-D-U-L-L-E. It's expected to make landfall at noon today. It's bringing winds of about 112 miles per hour. The weather agency has warned in Tokyo, please exercise caution for landslides, flooding in low-lying areas, surging rivers, violent wind, and high waves. Japan Airlines has canceled 145 domestic flights. All Nippon Airways has canceled about 96 domestic flights. AM Best has upgraded the financial strength rating of TransRe from A to A+. That's about as high as you can get. This is after TransRe signed an underwriting agreement with Berkshire Hathaway's GenRe. The 5-year deal announced last month will allow brokers to access Berkshire Hathaway subsidiary GenRe's direct-only capacity through a new underwriting platform managed by TransRe. AM Best said going forward, it is our expectation that while TransRe's return measures are unlikely to be at the high end of the company's peer group, with lower volatility relative to peers over the course of the full cycle, it will be safe to award them the A+ rating. The underwriting platform is expected to be available for U.S. and Canadian broker market treaty business from actually August 1st, so it's already begun. The news came on Friday after the stock markets closed that Travelers Executive Chairman and former CEO Jay Fishman died after battling a neuromuscular disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, that had forced him to step down as head of Travelers last year. His replacement, Alan Schnitzer, said that Jay led Travelers with an eye toward more than just success as it's traditionally measured. Though he would be too humble to admit it, he was an icon among corporate leaders. Fishman had come in as CEO of Travelers as part of the company's merger in 2004 with St. Paul, and in August of last year he announced he was stepping down. We never met Mr. Fishman, but we know people well who did know him well, and by all reports he was a very humble man and certainly a very effective leader. So he certainly will be missed. Our condolences to his family. The Singaporean Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong will be on medical leave until August 29th on the advice of his doctors. The Prime Minister took ill while delivering a National Day speech on Sunday, but returned to the stage after about an hour break. His illness was brought on supposedly by a temporary drop in blood pressure due to prolonged standing, exhaustion, and dehydration. The Prime Minister has been treated in the past for prostate cancer. Turkish authorities are seeking to ascertain the identity of a child suicide bomber supposedly acting on orders of the Islamic State, who killed 51 people over the weekend at a crowded Kurdish wedding. The Turkish President Recep Erdogan said that the street wedding late on Saturday in the city of Gaziantep near the Syrian border was the scene of an explosion that was caused by a suicide bomber between the ages of 12 and 14. According to Turkish media reports, the majority of those killed were children or teenagers. 29 of the 44 victims identified so far are under the age of 18. Turkish media said that DNA tests are underway to ascertain the identity, nationality, and gender of the bomber. The flooding in Louisiana continues to attract increasing attention in the United States. The floods have put a damper on the American rice harvest. While much of the rice crop in Louisiana had already been harvested before the floods this month, Arkansas farmers had just begun harvesting before the rainy weekend occurred, which prompted the floods. Arkansas produces about 50% of the nation's rice crop, while Louisiana produces about 15%. Farmers fear that continued bad weather or a Gulf Coast hurricane could worsen problems before the rest of the crop is harvested. An estimated 60,000 homes were damaged in Louisiana. 102,000 people have registered for federal aid. 13 people died in the floods, and billions of dollars of economic losses are going to have been incurred. The governor of Louisiana, John Bel Edwards, said that people around the country are just starting to pay attention now to the extent of the flooding. He said it received less attention because it was not a hurricane or a named storm. Mold has begun to become a big concern because as residents are returning to their saturated homes, they're finding them completely mud-caked so thoroughly that mildew and mold are now rampant. Also, in a uniquely Louisiana problem, because of above-ground burials, numerous caskets have had to be retrieved as they float down streets. 15 cemeteries across 7 parishes have had disruptions. The Louisiana government cannot yet ascertain how many graves, tombs, or vaults have been damaged. The wildfire in California in San Bernardino County, called the Blue Cut Fire, is now 85% contained. The evacuation orders have been lifted. People can return to their homes. However, there's another fire called the Chimney Fire, I should say, in San Luis Obispo County that's already burned about 28,000 acres and is threatening the Hearst Castle. The Hearst Castle is on the Hearst estate. It was a former resident of the magnate William Randolph Hearst, which has now been turned into a museum. The estate is 250 miles from Los Angeles and San Francisco, equidistant between the two. That fire is 35% contained as of last night. 8,000 of the 82,000 acre castle property acres have been burned by that fire. And in Western Europe, it looks as if a large slice of the continent is going to experience heat wave conditions in the coming days. Temperatures from Portugal all the way up to Poland are expected to reach into the 90-degree area. The warmer air is coming from the Mediterranean and Africa and is making progress toward the north. Temperatures in London and Paris are expected to reach 90 and 95 by Friday, 95 degrees in Paris. Of course, the Iberian Peninsula, there will be little change to the warm weather that's been seen there all summer. Temperatures in Madrid have generally reached 95 degrees on most days this summer. Throughout July and August, temperatures in the southern parts of both Spain and Portugal exceeded 104 degrees, prompting heat wave warnings. No kidding. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.